I got something really cool to talk about. And it's not this Mondraker Dune RR bike or these sweet OneUp pedals composite, best ever that I've tried. Rather, it's this dropper post. Recognize it? It's the OneUp Components dropper post. Came in this nice compact box. Decent price. I'll tell you that later. First, you got to learn about it. What they did is they offered a solution to give someone like me the longest dropper possible for any bike. And they succeeded, I think. So, dropper posts are a puzzle. They're all different lengths, and the frames are all a mess. You know, especially if you're not getting the most modern frames, they're not made for dropper posts. Sometimes this is too high. Sometimes there's an interruption in the seat tube where the shock is. So it's just a mystery what dropper length you can run, and it's a pain in the butt because you get used to a certain length, 150, and then when you have to ride 100, it changes your riding style or riding characteristic. So this particular bike, because it's interrupted, I can only they shipped it with a 100 millimeter dropper, a Fox transfer, and it was just unrideable for me. So I put a 125, and it worked. It was pretty good. I said, "Wow, wish I could do more." So the OneUp, what they did is they minimized the length of the insert, and also they minimized the length of the extension. How they did the minimize the length of the insert is they were efficient with the housing, with how the cable is attached and entering, and where the damper is. It's all in there, very compact. And give you an example, the Fox transfer, they put the damper underneath the slider, and that's why it's so long. Very reliable, but it's very long. How they optimized the extension length, you know, you say, hey, 150 is always 150. That's not really true. What's happening is there's this collar that's in the way, and there's also wasted space here. So they minimize that. So, and you'll see it on your dropper when you drop your saddle. You know, when you slam the saddle, how high? What's the distance from here to the rail? This is about 35 millimeters. Some are 40, some are 60 on my other bikes, and it's crazy. You know, the variation of wasted space. Over here, there's almost no wasted space. So the collar is very short, and they even droop down the seat rail holder to minimize that length. It's a stroke of genius how they did that. And finally, the last part of the solution they did is instead of a 170, so this is a 170 dropper, but you notice it's not 170, it's about 140, 142. And what they did was they allowed me to limit the travel. And how did they do that? What we've all been waiting for is a shim. So without any tools, I'm able to put a shim in. So this is a 50 millimeter shim. So when I put it in, the 170 became 120. And I said, whoa, now it's working, but I need a little more. And it's very easy to find out how much more you can have just by marking it and getting your saddle height. And so you cut this. So from 170, I arrived at about 142 was the ideal saddle height for me. So, and it works, you know. You know, it holds. So if someone else taller than me wanted to ride this bike, I'd just take out the shim and he can have the whole full 170 to travel. So stroke of genius there. So other usability things, it's infinite. As you can see, stop anywhere. It's damped. You know, it's not a jackhammer. You can control the speed with how you actuate the lever. There's a pretty positive bottom out and top out, so you can tell it when you're all the way down or all the way up. Little things, but they're good. The wiggle is not really there, which is cool because it's a contact point. And then moving down the line, it's a mechanical cable, which is awesome. You know, you don't want hydraulic really. They have their own lever, which is an underbar with 3 different clamp styles of your specification. And it's carbon. It's kind of a molded carbon, and it's very ergonomic, and it's deep inset into the bar, so you don't have to unwrap your hand. It's similar to this, what do you call this, upshifter. Most dropper levers mimic the downshifter, you know, where you have a bigger lever and it's right there. You have to unwrap your thumb. So there it is. How does it work? I've had about 3 rides on it, 2 dry and 1 really wet one, and it worked awesome. Very positive, good contact point. It's not as light action as my KSLEV or maybe the Fox, but it's very close, you know, and not quite as heavy as my Bontrager. But it's easily serviceable too. You just take this out with your tool free, and then you put some lube in there, take some dirt out. So awesome. So one knock I would say is I'm not crazy about the lever because it's I'm not used to it. I like the metal forged feel. It just feels more solid. This one, it seems like it has more flex to it, and it's deep in. It's cool that I don't have to unwrap my thumb so much, but I also have less leverage, and I do have to actuate the lever quite a bit to get it moving. I understand, you know, the upshifter, you're just releasing the spring, so you don't need a lot of leverage. But over here, you know, you need leverage because you're fighting the spring, and you're fighting the spring here. So maybe I can twist this a little bit outward, giving me a little more leverage. The cable is reversed, meaning it's terminated. The ball end is here, and over here is where you cut it. So it's reverse. Fox is like that. Bontrager is like that. So you can use those other levers. You can also use a Cane Creek lever, which takes both sides, you know, if you don't like this lever. So slam dunk so far, and the most slam dunk, the most amazing part of this whole solution. Oh, let me tell you the weight. The weight is about 510 grams, which is pretty much lighter than the rest of them. That's just for the post only, 150, 30.9. And the punchline is the price, $199 or $200 just for the dropper in either length. And then if you want the lever, another $47 or $48, I believe. So pretty amazing what they've introduced to the market. Thank you.